Happy Friday. All right. I am here for Feature Friday. I am a couple minutes early than what I said I was going to be, but I wanted to give everyone an opportunity for this to notify you that I'm live. I realize it's a Friday night. I don't know how many people have the same exciting life I do that you're going to be joining me live on a Friday night, but this is what worked for us between caring for chickens and homeschool and baseball and softball and just all the things. This is what worked for me today. So I'm going to give, hi. I'm going to give it just a minute or so and go ahead. And if you're joining me live, say hi. Let me know where you're joining from. I'd love to know kind of where everyone is. And hi. Oh, I'm so happy. Oh, this is great. This is great. So today's topic is going to be on where does gut health begin? And I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into some things that go along with that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the science. We're going to talk about why it's important, and then we're going to talk about how to take care of that aspect of our gut health. So I'm going to give it about 30 seconds more or so, and then we'll get going. Go ahead, and if you're joining live as we wait, tell me, got any exciting plans this weekend? I am taking my son with my mom to the Shed Aquarium tomorrow. I cannot tell you the last time I've been to a museum, so I'm excited for that. It should be interesting. And my husband is going to be home with our two littler ones, and caring for all of our animals. So it'll be fun. It'll be good. All right. It is officially 7 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and get started so that I am cognizant of everyone's time. So what we are talking about tonight is where does gut health begin? And it actually begins, can anyone tell me? For those that saw my my graphic, you may have gotten a bit of a hint, but can anyone tell me where they think gut health actually starts? Because it's not in your gut. Well, it's a component. It's a contributing factor. All right, so gut health actually starts in your mouth. So we're going to talk about oral health today, okay? So I'm going to, I want that. Okay, I want to make sure that this is live. I think I'm seeing in the mouth, right, Darren? Yep, in the mouth. Okay, I think I'm seeing all the comments through here. So I'm not going to worry about this component. We're just going to use this for now. All right. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Always got to get myself organized first. Okay. So if I can see the comments, that's what I really need. And we are good to go, sort of. Here we go. All right. So there have been studies that show a clear link between oral disease and systemic disease. So what they have shown is that when there is evidence of chronic oral issues or pathogens that are found in the mouth, it has been linked to things like rheumatoid arthritis, inflammatory bowel disease, even cardiovascular disease. So when we're thinking about these chronic systemic diseases, we should also be looking at what's going on from our oral health standpoint. And by taking care of our oral health, we may be able to have a direct impact on these other systemic diseases, okay? So yes, brushing, flossing, and all of that is really important, but there are actually functional dentists out there that'll tell you that what's most important is what you're feeding yourself. What food you're eating is going to have the biggest impact on what's happening in your mouth as well as keeping it clean. But the food is equally as important, okay? There was a project done, I don't know if anyone will remember this, called the Human Microbiome Project. And what they found with that is that what was going on in the oral cavity and the bacteria found in stool overlapped in almost 50% of the patients. It was actually 45%, but close to half of the patients had a similar makeup of bacteria, good and or bad, in the mouth and in their stool, which is coming from the latter half, okay? So increased amounts of bad bacteria happening in the mouth have been shown again in the intestines. And this has been demonstrated through research in diseases such as colon cancer, inflammatory bowel, liver cirrhosis, GERD, those types of things. Okay, all of them known to have an inflammatory component as well. What is something that I find very interesting that I have actually studied from a physical therapy standpoint is that the mechanism of chewing in and of itself. So we should actually be chewing our food every single bite 20 to 30 times. If there's anyone on here joining me live right now that has food with them, I would love for you to take a little bite. And now that I've told you, you're going to chew more. But we did this in a continuing education class that I took. We took a bite, and she was asked us to count our bites, right? And it had to be like a cracker or nut, something that you actually have to chew, not like a noodle or something, right? And then, or a yogurt or something. It had to be something you had to chomp on. And then she told us about it and was like, how many times can you chew it? So we should actually be like emulsifying our food every single time we eat. The reason for that is that as we do that, our bodies there's 3 different glands that are creating saliva. Within that saliva are enzymes that are helping us break down the food. And without those enzymes, if we aren't chewing our food enough, if there's not the saliva being created, then more work has to be done on the lower half in the esophagus and below in order to break down our foods and extract the nutrients. So chewing in and of itself can help our gut, because it's going to reduce the amount of work necessary for our gut to extract the nutrients it needs from the foods that we're eating. So something really simple, everyone can do that, right? You don't have to buy anything special. You don't have to, think of it. All you got to do is be more conscious of when you're eating and take 20 to 30 bites every single time. Now I know that that's not going to happen for everyone, but pretty easy thing that you can start tonight if you haven't had dinner yet as you're, working on your food. Okay. There are special enzymes specifically for fats, proteins, and starches that live in our mouth. And so that, again, the longer the food can be there and we can be chewing and breaking it down, the longer those enzymes have to work as well. Now, the oral health has to do with how hydrated it is, the balance of good and bad bacteria. It has to do with your ability to chew. So whatever your teeth look like, the strength of your teeth, all those things, right? It's not so much about the cosmetic whitening of the teeth, but do you have the teeth to do the function necessary to start it easier for the gut? It's Friday night and it's been a long week, so I know my words aren't totally, but you get what I mean. Okay. So chewing at least 30 times. So I do want to bring up this picture. I don't have slides today. It's been a crazy day. But I am going to bring up this picture just so that you guys can see. Here we go. Just a really simple mechanism. Oh, no, I'm frozen. There we go. Okay. So mouth movement. Chewing for chemical and mechanical breakdown. Chew more to release more enzymes, and it starts to stimulate your stomach acid, which is necessary for the breakdown of food as well. It helps with nutrient absorption. Chewing alone, no pill, no supplement, nothing else. Chewing alone 20 to 30 times every single bite can eliminate gas, bloating, and abdominal pain, because your gut is going to have to work less, be more efficient than if you didn't chew your food completely and the stomach has to break it all down for you, which leads to inflammation. Okay. Real simple thing. All right. I'm going to stop sharing there for right now. All right. I'm going to make sure that my other pictures are pulled up. They are. Okay. So let's talk about how to maintain good oral health. I've given you a really simple tip on what you can do every single time you eat to help your body work easier and more efficiently and reduce some stomach upset, right? That's all gut health. But let's talk about the oral health that is linked to either an imbalance of the good and bad bacteria, the breakdown of our teeth, all of those things. One of the most important things that we start to think of is toothpaste and mouthwash, right? Why are we using them? Do you know what's in them? And can you determine that it is actually doing what it should? Or, as you have probably learned if you've ever watched any of my videos, are the ingredients in these products actually working against us? And I would venture to guess that there's a fair amount of us out there that these products are working against us. They are breaking down the lining of our mouth. They are reducing the enzymes that our body is able to produce. They are actually impacting the enamel of our teeth. all of the things that we need in order to begin with good gut health. Okay. Interesting thing about oral health products, as far as toothpaste, mouthwash, all that, they're regulated by the FDA, but they are classified as a cosmetic. So the FDA actually says firms and individuals who market cosmetics have a legal responsibility to make their products and ingredients safe under labeled. Okay, under US law, cosmetic products and ingredients do not need FDA approval before they go on the market. The cosmetic industry is very lightly regulated. So it is really important that you are taking the time to look at the back of your toothpaste. Okay. And I'm actually going to show you some labels tonight too. So the CDC on August 17th of 2001 talked about the prevalence of dental cavities in a population is not inversely related to the concentration of fluoride in the enamel. So fluoride is controversial. I am going to tell you, I have a filter for my water that filters out fluoride. I don't personally choose to have fluoride in my oral healthcare products. There is mixed feelings on that. That is my family and I's personal take on it. So do take that with what you will based on your beliefs. But I personally filter out fluoride and avoid fluoride in my products and foods and all those things. Okay. Because there have been studies that the higher amount of fluoride is not necessarily preventing dental cavities. And also, it has been found that fluoride has led to cancer, brittle bones, dental fluorosis, which is white spots on the teeth, and neurological impairment when used over the long term or in higher doses. There's also on any fluoride toothpaste, there is a disclaimer that if a child swallows a pea-sized amount of a fluoridated toothpaste, it advises you to call poison control. Leave that. Okay. So where can you go to get information on your toothpastes? Okay. So I went to I actually went to one main site, and then I was introduced to another site. And here's what I found super interesting. I'm going to tell you about both of them. The first one is called the Cornucopia Institute. Okay. This is an institute that is engaged in educational activities, and I'm reading this off their mission. Okay. Educational activities supporting the ecological principles and economic wisdom underlying sustainable and organic agriculture. So they're a natural-based institute. Okay. They are looking at research and investigations on agriculture and food issues, and they provide information to farmers, consumers, and stakeholders in the good food movement. So what they did, they have a list. There are only two criteria in the ratings that they give on a 5-point scale for toothpaste is does it include mostly organic ingredients, and is it free of carrageenan? And I'm going to talk about that when we get into ingredients. Okay. Those that were mostly organic and free of carrageenan got the 5s. And then there were blends after that. Okay. Now the other site that I would love to know, have you heard of EWG, Environmental Working Group? Has anyone heard of that? So EWG started with the, I think it was the good skin or deeper than skin movement or something like that. So they were looking at skincare products is what they started with, and they have expanded from there. Now, what I didn't understand, and I dug a little bit more into this, is how do you become an EWG certified product? You know, some of the products that I feel are very environmentally friendly aren't even listed on their site, and that I know to be clean and aren't even there. Well, here's the caveat to that. They started in 1993 tracking chemical safety. Okay. They call out bad chemicals and the companies that use them. They started with cosmetics, skincare, because there are only 29 ingredients banned in Canadian. Okay. Cosmetics sold in the United States can contain 29 ingredients that are banned in Canada, 15 banned in Europe, 55 not allowed in European hair dyes, 5 known to the state of California to cause cancer. They are allowed in cosmetics, and 6 known to be developmental toxins. So anything that's EWG verified in regards to cosmetics does not have any of those ingredients. But how do you get that certification? The Cornucopia Institute was just looking at 2 things. The list of ingredients, were they organic, and was it free of carrageenan, which is linked to cancer. Okay. in order to be EWG certified, the company has to pay, and they have to work specifically with a formulator, and it's a program called Reviewed for Science, and they want to work with companies at the beginning, and I understand all the reasons behind it. But again, in a world that we live in, sorry guys, there's something itchy on my nose. In a world that we live in where everyone is under strain for costs, and there's supply chain and shipping and just so many things, I can only imagine that something like this, while important to be transparent, if a company stands firm on a transparency promise and you can see all of their ingredients and you know what's in it, and you like they have, lab testing, and you can find the lab testing and those kinds of things, I can see where some companies may not then pay to be a part of this program. So again, I would take it with a grain of salt a little bit if you're finding a great product or what you think to be a great product that doesn't necessarily have this designation on it. Okay. Now, here's the other thing. EWG certified and Cornucopia actually did not agree on a fair number of their ratings. So I'm going to show you this. Oh, you can't really see that. Okay, well, I don't want to insert. I want to like make it bigger. Oh, maybe if I do this. Okay, here we go. Now you can see it. All right, so different brands of toothpaste are on the left. You're going to see that. And then you've got the EWG ratings and the Cornucopia score. Now, the Cornucopia score, again, based on two factors, carrageenan-free and organic ingredients. And then EWG certified is you have to be a paid member, basically, in order to get that. Otherwise, they take a look at the ingredients and they rate the ingredients on a level from 1 to 10, 1 being the best, the fair, and 10 the worst. Okay. So here you've got David's Naturals, which is an EWG certified, but a Cornucopia score of 2, which is one of the lowest because it's not organic. The ingredients are not fully organic. And I would have to go back and look and find out if it had carrageenan or not. Happy was an agreed. Okay. Happy brand, EWG certified, and a 5. With my, never heard of it. That's okay. It was certified. It wasn't even rated on Cornucopia. Argonaut was a 4, again, pretty similar. Okay. Now we come down here again. So Dr. Bronner's, they're not an EWG certified company, or because they probably aren't part of the program, but they were a 5 in Cornucopia. Same with Jack and Jill. And then you've got these Trader Joe's, Tom's of Maine. Both of them are rated a 1 in regards to EWG, but both have carrageenan, and Trader Joe's doesn't have a single organic ingredient. Now, let me preface all that by saying organic ingredients in your toothpaste aren't necessarily as important as organic ingredients elsewhere for many reasons, but just interesting and just kind of giving a fair warning to the fact of how are you rating, what are you looking at, and be discerning, okay? Be discerning of what don't just take everything at face value. And that's why I had to dig a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to pull up a couple of photos. The first one we're going to look at is Crest. So this is a common household item, been around for many, many years, right? Okay, we're going to look at the inactive ingredients because that's always where you actually want to be looking. Kind of where, unfortunately, where things are hidden. Okay, I'm going to share this. That's not what I want. Okay, we're going to see 2 red flags when we pull up this label. The 2 red flags I want to point out are the blue one. This is an artificial coloring, automatically something that usually includes a lot of not great things. The other thing is the sodium lauryl sulfate right here. This is actually a soap. It's designed to help give that foamy feeling with the toothpaste. It is actually harsh and will wear down the lining of your mouth. Okay. Same with the Colgate. I'm going to pull up this one. So this is Colgate Sparkling White with baking soda. Truly, baking soda is a great ingredient, right? Nice and natural. However, look at this. We've got blue 1 and yellow 10. We've got the carrageenan. Whoops. I don't know how I did that. How did I do that? There we go. We've got the carrageenan, which we've talked about having a link with. So it's a known inflammatory agent, first and foremost. And there are some studies to point toward it being a carcinogen. I don't know how I keep doing that. This is me in technology, guys. Okay. And then it also does have the sodium lauryl sulfate, the soap again. Okay. Here's another one. This is deep cleaning by Arm & Hammer. Let me Oh, come on. Did I not save this one? All right, hold on. I'm going to pull it up here. Okay, so you guys can see this here. What this one has that is concerning is the PEG 8. I wish I could draw. Okay, but you can see my cursor hopefully. This PEG 8, PEG PPG. These are propylene glycols, which make it easier for the chemical within the product to break down, but they can also break down the lining of our mouths over time. And then in addition to these PEGs, these propylene glycols, it also has the sodium lauryl sulfate. And interesting, it's spelled a little bit differently on all of them. So if you're looking for it, you might want to make sure that you're checking the spelling on each of them as well. So, and then the last one this was actually a surprise to me a couple years ago as I was starting my research on everything. I'm going to pull it up. You know, okay. No, I don't have it. Okay. I'm going to pull it up here because that's where it is. All right. So right here, you'll see Tom's of Maine. Again, I wish I could make this bigger. Oh, here, I can't. All right, so Tom's of Maine, and you're going to see the carrageenan again, and as well as the sodium lauryl sulfate, so the soap agent. So carrageenan sounds like carcinogen. Absolutely, 100%. It totally does. I agree. So Tom's of Maine, right, is supposed to be an all-natural, organic, healthy. Well, it's owned by one of the bigger brands. So I can't remember. Oh, Colgate. It was purchased by Colgate. So it's actually not as clean as you might think it is. So those are some things that to watch out for when you're looking at your oral care. Like, what are you currently using, and what does it have in it? What do you want to avoid? So we actually went through and changed out our entire oral care line. At first I started looking, we had gone to Tom's of Maine thinking that was good. Then as I started doing research, I was like, nope, that's not good either. And so currently we use a brand that has silver and gold nanotechnology in it. And so I want to talk about the nanotechnology behind it, why I would choose to use a silver and gold based toothpaste and mouthwash. And then I will give you a little bit more on the other ingredients that are involved in that. So before I get into that, does anyone have any questions on anything I've talked about real quick? I haven't seen any. Yeah, more harm than good for sure. Okay. All right. So, and if you're watching on the replay, just go ahead and type the questions in and I will find it and see it and I will get back to you. So nano silver. Okay. So there's nanoparticles of silver. There's two different forms. There is ionic and non-ionic. Now I have notes because I confuse this frequently. Okay. Non-ionic silver is where this type of silver has been used since the early 20th century. It has been, you can find it in dietary supplements, alternative medicine, those things. There is mixed research on its overall use, but what they have found is ionic silver is what will build up because of its electrical charge and the way that it is suspended in water. Okay. So ionic silver the difference lies in their solubility. Okay. And this is, I'm reading this because I want to make sure I get this right. So the solubility of ionic silver means that it can pass through a membrane. Okay. Which means it can build up inside the body. Whereas non-ionic silver, I want to make sure, is the most effective. And there are zero risks of it accumulating in the body because it cannot pass through the cell membrane. That's what I wanted to make sure. So that's something to consider in the type of, like if you're using a silver based product, so it detoxes. Yes. Well, I wouldn't say for sure. It's known to be antimicrobial, antibacterial, antifungal, antiviral. So it is going to combat those things within our body. It does have an electrical charge, so it is going to share electrodes, which in that sense, now I'm just thinking on the fly here, would be a form of detox. So, but as a actual, like a very specific detox, I'd have to look a little bit deeper into that. But it's going to help balance the good and bad bacteria within the body. And that's why I look for it as far as the mouth goes. Okay. So we talked a bit in the beginning about wanting to balance. There's good and bad bacteria in the mouth, magnetic as well. Yeah, absolutely. There's good and bad bacteria in the mouth, and you want to balance that out. Well, let's think to something like a mouthwash, right? Any mouthwash that contains alcohol is just going to kill everything. So it's just going to wipe out all the good and bad. It's not going to be discerning. It's just going to wipe it all out, which is not going to be good for the overall homeostasis of the mouth and the bacteria living in it. Okay. Silver, on the other hand, is only going to eliminate the bad. It's going to leave behind the good. The other thing in this particular brand that I use, it has gold nanoparticles as well. Gold is known to be anti-inflammatory. Gold also helps to keep silver where it needs to be. So the combination of the two helps to bring the ingredients where they're most needed to do the job they need to do in order to maintain the balance in the mouth. All right. They are nano size, so they're very, very small. They eliminate the bad bacteria and plaque. Gold keeps the silver in place for optimal teeth and gum protection, and it's also anti-inflammatory. This, so let me show you. I don't think I have this picture. Okay. Well, can I do this? Hold on. I want to show you the ingredients here. So this is it. It's called a brightening toothpaste because the other main ingredient in it is called hydroxyapatite, which is actually a natural brightener and strengthener for our teeth. And so other than those soaps and the scrubbings and all of that, this is actually going to help strengthen your enamel while also brightening. Let me see. Here we go. So this is the ingredient list for the toothpaste I use. It's the Trinot oral care line. Okay. This one has, you can see here, the Nano Silver. It also has the Nano Gold. Xylitol is designed to help with mouth moisturization. The hydroxyapatite, which I just talked about, is the enamel strengthener, as well as the brightener of the teeth without damaging the enamel. So many of those whitening toothpaste are actually damaging to the enamel and thin them, thus kind of being counterproductive. And then sodium cocoa, glutamate, and cellulose gum are actually necessary agents within toothpaste to keep it the texture that it's supposed to be. Guys, it's late. So it keeps that texture, but they are, there's no harm in those ingredients. I did look that up. And then it's natural flavoring, and there is a menthol component. So the flavoring is vanilla spearmint. What I love the most about this is I struggled so much to find a toothpaste for my 4-year-old at the time he was 3 that he wouldn't fight me on, that we wouldn't have a temper tantrum and all the things. As soon as we started using this toothpaste, I was able to brush his teeth. Now we're working on teaching him how to do it himself. But the idea behind it was we were having such a hard time finding something that he would actually tolerate that we could even get the toothbrush in his mouth. So that's what's been really great. There's a whole set. This is the toothpaste I've been focusing on because that's what I compared the most of. The mouthwash has the gold and silver as well. There's actually an on-the-go spray. So if you're someone that, sees clients and things like that and you want to freshen up, it'll do that. It has a higher concentration of the gold to keep the silver in place to help with the anti-inflammation. It's also great. The spray is also great if you've got like canker sores. You can get that silver right in there and it tastes good. So that's nice too. And then there is a lip balm, and the lip balm has a higher level of the gold as well because, like I said, gold is anti-inflammatory. It also has a natural SPF to it. So just a little plug for what I have found to be the most useful for my family, but I think the most, and it's fluoride free, as I had said before. So, but I think the most important thing that I hope that you get from this is that take a look at the back of your toothpaste. Take a look at the back of your mouthwashes. Make sure they don't contain alcohol. Make sure that they don't have that foaming agent. Make sure that they don't have the carrageenan. Make sure they don't have any of the artificial dyes in them. All of those things are actually counterproductive to what you are trying to do for the health of your mouth. The health of your mouth is where the health of your gut starts. Our gut is our second brain. Our gut is what leads to systemic inflammation, and that leads to chronic disease and yada, 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 right? It just keeps on going. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know that I can get on a whole soapbox just on gut health. So I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you found at least one piece of information useful. Please ask any questions in the comments. I will come back and answer those throughout the weekend and into next week. And I hope that you all have a beautiful weekend. I'm going to answer this. Ivy and that. Yes. Yeah. So the comment here was I got thrush on my tongue after 6 days of round the clock vancomycin IV in the hospital. And that antibiotic is going to deplete us of all the good bacteria pretty much because it's just not particular. It's not choosy. It's just going to get rid of it all. And yeah, that's going to definitely have an impact on then the oral health, which will then lead into the gut health as well. So, Darren, how are you doing on that now? Has that gotten better? So, all right. Well, I am so thankful for those of you that watch live and those that watch on the replay. Thank you as well. And everyone have a wonderful, amazing weekend.